Welcome back, everyone. Today I have another video, and today we have a different kind of video. I wanted to do a kind of different kind of series because this type of videos are a little bit easier to make, and also I have a lot of people who ask me, what do you think about this car, this new car coming up, what are you thinking of combos, and also I think about reviewing like deck lists of deck winning tournaments, see what I think about them, or any kind of news that get dropped by the One Piece community. I think that'll be kind of like a good roundup video for the week, and that way I have like every 2 days I can post a gameplay video, and then on Mondays I can just drop one of these ones, and then I feel like that would be fine. Let me know if you have any other ideas what I can do on these Mondays. But yeah, I'm gonna review the new card that got revealed, this Marshall D. Teach, which says activate once per turn if your leader has the Blackbeard Pirates, and this character was played this turn, the turn that you played it. You negate the leader abilities effects for the turn, and then you can choose another character that they have on play, and they also get negated. You can also negate that effect, like the whole abilities on that card, and that card cannot attack for the until the opponent's next turn. So I think this is a really good card for Blackbeard, the leader. I don't know if this turns out something like an L, or like it could be really busted if that's the case. Like I feel like there's a lot of leaders that like have defensive abilities, especially like on yellow. So if that can turn those type of abilities off, it would be really okay. I don't necessarily know if this card is going to be broken. It has blocker, so it's like the first like big static blocker that we have. Like it's definitely just going to block one attack, and if you have the leader, it's going to be hard to remove because not on play ability is going to remove this guy. So like this kind of like goes really well with the leader that is trying to go into. I think it's a decent card. Let's review the leader for a second. This is the leader. Let's talk about him because I haven't talked at all about this guy. Your own place abilities don't work, and the you may trash one card from your hand, and the opponent's own play abilities don't work for the next turn. This is a really interesting leader. It's kind of weird to measure right now because all the on plays cards on black are kind of nuts, and that's basically what black has going for itself right now. So I guess it's gonna be really good in the mirror type of deal, because like if you're able to negate the opponent's whole turn by like negating their A drops, basically that's gonna be really powerful for this leader especially. So I do see some value in this card. There's a lot of on plays too on like in the game in general, because that's how like the black removal forces to be. Like if every card that is above 7 energy doesn't have an on play ability, it's kind of like asking to be removed, right? So this kind of takes advantage of that whole gimmick that the game has gone for, and I'm excited to see what support gets revealed with this, of course. To review some of the support that has been revealed for this guy, this one is the first one, which says on KO it draws a card, so it always gonna get like some value there, and you can rest this guy to give something -3, and it has Connor. It's a 5 cost 6k, so like it's really a legit card for the archetype. I assume it's gonna have some sort of removal that it also like focuses on tapping your guys to KO something, or like a broke like repetitive attack, like on attack remove something. So I think that's where like this deck is trying to go for. This card really functions for that ability, of course. This leader can be KO'd by opponent's effects. He has protection. It's added protection to a leader that already protects your cards, so I think it's like kind of redundant in some ways. But I mean, I guess you don't want your cards to get KO early. And your leader, if your leader is Blackbeard, you get +1k for every 4 cards in your trash. So this is a permanent ability, I think. Yeah, it doesn't say your turn or anything like that. So it's just gonna keep growing. So as long as you have a huge grave, you can play a 4 energy 9k. You could like realistically get there if you mill a lot. That kind of is a decent card to have as an option for the deck. So it could be really good. It could be really mediocre depending on how much trashing is going on this variation of the deck. Then we also have this guy, Connor 1k. Activate main, you may rest this card, and when you're done, look at the top 5 and reveal a Blackbeard card. It's a searcher for Blackbeard, and it's repetitive. It looks like it's activate main. So I mean, Searchers have always been good in this game, so definitely a card to that is gonna make the cut immediately just because of how it works. All right, now let's review Robin, which is the new leader that I haven't reviewed, and it got also new cards. So it has Banish. I think it's the first leader that has that keyword, so it's gonna be really interesting to see how it works. And it also ramps when attacking. You just get to trash one card with Trigger, which there's a lot of them in probably yellow and purple, and then you just ramp for free. Very interesting leader. I think is gonna be very decent like for like what leader is. The color combination, let's see what other cards can do, but I mean just the banish keyword is kind of insane, to be honest. As a control leader is gonna be really powerful, I would say. All right, the first one is Nico Olivia, which I feel is like an auto include on Nico Robin decks because it is a 2k counter, already good. And on play, give up one of you Nico Robin plus 3k for the turn, so it can proc the vanish pretty easily. And then a trigger, you draw 3 cards, discard 2. So, I mean, it just can't get any better than that, honestly. Then we have this one, which is look at the top 5 cards of your deck, reveal up to 2 cards with the trigger, or then discard, probably. And add them to your hand, then return the rest to the bottom of your deck in any order. This is a 3-cost card, so it's a draw 2. And then the trigger is draw 1 card. It's an event. It could be powerful like as a refilling card. I mean, especially since you're discarding a lot of cards and you get to 10 done fairly quickly. So if you can do like a 7 draw play and do this card to draw 2 cards, you can do something very efficiently with the leader, of course. Then we have Soul. It says yellow, doesn't do anything. It's a blocker. If your leader is Nico Robin, play this card. So the trigger is to play this card. It doesn't have any counter. I don't know if they're gonna be playing this one, honestly, but I mean, it's an option. It's a free play and it has blocker. Pretty okay, I would say. If there needs to be a searcher, then it's an option to have there. Now the new card that got revealed, 6 drop, 1k counter. On play, if your opponent has 3 or more life cards, trash up to one of the top cards of your opponent's life. That in itself is kind of nuts. Especially if they're defending the Nico Robin early, so you take card out of their hand by them not like banishing, like defending the Nico Robin, so that it works perfectly with the leader, because the leader is gonna force the opponent to combo cards early to not get banished. And if they have 3 or more life, this card is kind of always gonna be active, and it's just gonna banish a card out of the top of their life. So the synergy there already is insane. And the trigger, you play up to 1 cost of 3 yellow character from your hand. So the trigger is not that amazing, but I guess it's a trigger, so you cannot really complain. But this card is perfect for the leader. I think like it just embodies the whole leader by itself, forcing the opponent to combo early, and then you play back to back with this card. Not only they don't have a hand, they don't have a they're gonna get banished eventually, and this card is just gonna help with that. So it's gonna be a really obnoxious leader to play around. And it doesn't say that you have to be Nico Robin, so I wonder if there is other leader that can work with this. It has to be something like more control-ish, or something like Yamato. Like if you play Yamato and then you go attack for 5, the opponent doesn't want to take a double strike, and they combo early, and then you start playing this back to back, and then your Yamatos are gonna be more impactful. I feel like this card could work on Yamato as well. So we'll see where it lands, but really decent card for what it does. All right, and then for Shanks, I'm sure it's a leader that a lot of people are excited about. Shanks is one of the favorite characters in One Piece. And this, I think, is going to be a good leader. Once per turn, you may activate this effect when your opponent attacks. Give it to one of your opponent's leader or characters minus 1k for the turn. So it's a really good defensive leader, which means you can play a strategy of going tall in red and be very like effective at it. Like right now, the best strategies to do that we're doing it with were like kind of Luffy to use the extra dome for like something else. But this is way better because this works on defense, so you're not gonna have to pitch too many cards defending your leader. And what is gonna end up happening is that you're gonna be able to play back to back 10 drops with Rush, or 10 drops that have value like Whitebeard or something like that. And then you're gonna be able to just keep playing big bombs, and eventually overpower the opponent. So I think this leader is gonna be really good for that reason. And we're gonna have to see some support. Let's go see the card that you got for that one though. Now let's look at the Shanks art. By the way, this is insanely good. Like, I think it's the best art that I've seen on One Piece so far. This card is gonna be I mean, people are just gonna want to play it for the art alone. But the card is actually very good. All your opponent's characters have minus one power. So this is a permanent. So this works in your turn and the opponent's turn. And it has rush too. So it's a 10 drop that basically is gonna kill anything that when it comes into play. If you attack it, if they're in rest mode. And it makes all the opponent's cards -1. And if you don't think that's powerful, I just recently played with the Foxy card, the 7 drop, that makes all the characters on the opponent's field -1. And let me tell you, that ability is actually very, very strong. In a leader that can also minus the opponent's attack by another 1k, so you minus 2k, so your hand size is gonna be like healthy, you're gonna have to defend that much. And then you're gonna, if you're playing back to back these big bomb threats that do something, it really piles up into the opponent, and it really makes like if you do back to back chunks, the opponent has -2k. Like if they were not able to remove the first chunks, how are they ever gonna deal you any damage? -2k for the whole turn, and then you have to deal with these 2 chunks, and then you add a third one on top of that one, -20k, 30k, 3k. Insanely, this card is gonna be really powerful, and I do think the chunks is gonna, especially if you can ramp into it. Like imagine if you play 10 drop Luffy, you're a 6k leader. I mean 6k Luffy. You're a 6k leader, and you're ramping into this guy, so -1k to all your characters. Again, this card is gonna be really meta playable, and I do think it's gonna make waves for that reason. We also got Beckman, a 7 cost power with Connor. On play, trash up one of your opponent's characters with power 6k or less. I mean, this ability is like a jet pistol, but on an actual car. This is okay. This I think is gonna work better after you play a couple of chunks, but either way, having a removal in a character is always good. It doesn't matter what the card does, even it being a 7/7. It has Connor, so I don't think it's a bad card to play at all in the deck, in any red deck, especially in going tall red deck, right? Because that's when it's gonna end up happening. And by the way, this is trash up to one of your opponent's characters. It's not KO, it's no KO by abilities or something like that. It's trash them, so it gets around a lot of like Borsalino and cannot be destroyed, cannot be KO. All of those abilities that have that cannot be KO. This gets around that, so it's a really good removal for that reason. You can also pair with minusing abilities, and 6k is a very like good threshold for that. So I do think it's gonna be a decent card, especially in the Shanks deck, where you're just trying to play big threats, and this one is just happens to remove something else and also be a good threat. So I do see some value in this card. And now for one of the best characters on One Piece, we have Mr. Buggy himself. His ability is rest 5 and discard 1 card from your hand. So definitely a going first leader, because you want to be doing that as soon as possible. And you can play a cross guild character from your hand. So it depends on what kind of cards they give him that are cross guild. But I assume there's going to be some like Mihawk type abilities where there are 9 drops that remove a 7 or less or something like that. It depends on what they give him. Not that this card works with him, because it's I think this one is a 7 Warlords of the Sea, but at least like something like that they have to give him to make this type of effect kind of worth it, right? The first one that we see them give him is that on play up to 1 character with the cross guild type or with the Baroque works, and a cost 5 or less from your hand. So you can play immediately. The card that comes into mind is DS. So you can play this guy and DS on the same turn. Draw 2, discard 1. So basically you play him for free. Right? I think that's how that one works. Yeah. So you get to do that immediately. Play a 7 and a 5. Very, very good. That's the first combo that they chose for this one. And then who knows what the other ones are going to do, like Mihawk or something like that. So definitely a leader that could make some waves depending on the support that he gets. And we're going to have to see and wait and see what else they give us for this leader, of course. Now for our Luffy here, which is a dual color Monkey D. Luffy, purple and black. We've already seen that combination with King from the set that is coming up, LP7. It says don't want your characters have +1 cost. That's pretty good against black and blue leaders. So I mean, already a win on that end. And during your turn, if you return 2 or more done, to the Dawn deck. You can return to your Dawn deck. You can set up one active and one in rest mode. So that is a very powerful ability if you plague your deck with a bunch of -2 abilities, -2 Dawn cards. So you can have powerful abilities. So I think this can work well. The only card that comes to mind is the Ura at the moment, the 8 drop that makes this leader basically a 6k for the turn. That could be really powerful on this leader. King, that I remember, has a -2. Kaido has a -6. The Rush Kaido. So there's a couple of cards that can be really good with this leader. Let's see what else they drop for him. But I mean, there's a lot of powerful cards that have more than -1 and can really benefit for this ability, of course. So now we have the Sanji, which is the card that they gave him for him. It says on play, you may return one or more of your Dawn. And basically, so you can trigger the leader. So you can rest 2, I assume, and then use the leader ability. This character gains Rush, pretty good. And then you can rest up to one of your opponent's 6 or lower characters. Pretty decent card. Good against mid-range decks or decks that rely a lot on like winning creatures that you can attack immediately. Then you can just punish those decks with this card. Very decent against blockers, 5-kill blockers, I think. A very good card all around, and that is gonna work very well with that leader. We'll see what else they're gonna give him to make this card more playable, but I mean, already is a decent enough, I assume. All right, and then we have the new character. I think it's from the film movies. I'm not sure. Odyssey, maybe that's a video game. I've seen that tag in other cards before. I think I've seen them on red cards, not on this color combination on green purple. But it says your characters enter play rested, so that's a really heavy disadvantage. But it says activate main once per turn. You pay 3 Dawn. Set up to one of your Dawn as rested. And then you play a 5 or lower Odyssey type character from your hand. So I mean, that's a pretty powerful ability. You ramp and play something for 5 or less. You can just fill the deck with those type of cards, and then like have a top end at the 10 down mark with like green has a really good cards that have that high top end, and so does purple. So I mean, this is going to be a fairly strong ability. I've seen a lot of ramp leaders recently coming up in the last 2 sets. So I don't know if we're moving to that kind of format, like we're just spinning up the deck, the games to like everything has to be ramp to your big creatures, to your big boss monsters. So we're gonna have to see how it works with this. But this is really a strong ability. It has a small disadvantage on your characters coming to play rested, but I mean, depending on how big or strong they are, of course. Then they have the first one, which is a 1k counter, is a blocker. End of the turn, if you have 2 or more characters with this set, it goes to active. So it tried to bypass the opponent's, its own disadvantage. I assume it doesn't count the leader, but I'm not entirely sure. If it does, I think it probably does, because if no, it's kind of difficult to always have like 2 characters and then have this one to be able to restand. But I mean, it's a blocker. It's a simple card. We have this guy, which is a 4 cost. You will be just using it for like it's a 2k counter, and if you have 2 or more this type character rested, this card gains +1 power. So it's a little bit harder to kill. And it's a 2k counter, so I mean, you cannot go wrong with that one. All right, so we have 2 more cards that are Odyssey that they have been revealed. The 9 costs here on play. If your leader has this type, set up to 3 of your Dawn as active, so you can use the leader ability immediately the turn that you play this guy. And when your opponent is attacking, once per turn, you may rest one of your Dawn. Up to one of your leaders or characters gains +2k power for the battle. So it's a value engine, because you're going to use the free Dawn that you get for free. I mean, 1 Dawn that you get for free. Oh, no, you don't get for free, but you just use 1 Dawn for counter. So that's very good in terms of value. And the fact that you can just play 2 characters basically with this guy, also very, very strong. So I expect the leader to be decent. Let's see other cards that you get with this, this is the stat line that I was expecting. A 5 cost 6k that says on play, if you have 2 or more rested characters, choose one of your opponent's 6 cost or lower characters, or up to one of their Dawn and rested. So it's a little bit of value. It's like the green value that you can get there, but I mean, it's a 5-6 good stat line. difficult to kill, and then it also just works with the leader. So I mean, it's a fine card. It's just like a filler card. We'll have to see if they are better than this one. But definitely, the deck is looking okay. It's probably the weakest of the bunch, but some cards, depending on what they release, could be really strong. Like this one is very strong. So it just needs more of this type of card, so to make it like more widely playable, I think. Now let's look into some of the pricing cards that got revealed. This one, I'm not entirely sure how they are, because they're showing this championship card that is gonna be in one of the packs. I think it's gonna be like you get like get it for top 2 or top 4 probably, and you get one of these packs. But I don't know if you get only 2 cards per pack. Does it mean that you're gonna get this one randomly? It's kind of weird. If you know more about this one, let me know, or let someone know in the comments, because yeah, that'll be kind of wild if you have to go to like top A and you get one of these packs and then you don't get a Luffy. That would be really, really bad. On the packs, or I don't know if you sell them seal and just try to get, I don't know, it's gonna be a wild concept if that's how it works. If you get to a top A, you get 2 packs and you don't get anything for getting to top A. That would be really bad. Also, we got announced a Nami altar with like a manga Nami. At this point, this is like the 20th different copy of this one. Kind of funny how that one works, but definitely a card that I guess it was missing. This is for the collectors. It's a beautiful card. The altars got announced. This is the one for the Odyssey one. This is the guy, how it looks. Pretty decent. I mean, this I actually don't know who this character is. I don't know if it's from a video game or something like that. Someone let me know in the comments. I don't like the Nico Robin art, honestly. I don't know. This is the Missile Sunday art, I guess, but I don't like it too much. It feels like kind of bad. The Buggy one is tremendous. I really, really like it. The Blackbeard one is actually pretty good too. I kind of like it a lot too. The Luffy one is pretty nice too. And the Shanks ones, all the Emperor ones are actually pretty nice. So I'm excited to see that ones in person. All right, now looking into the decks that did well this last week, or actually a couple of weeks, because this is the first time that I make these videos. So we're gonna analyze a couple of tournaments, not just this one. But this one was a small tournament. I think it was 65 people, but NL got first. Pretty standard list, I think. This is what everyone is trying to play. Some NLs, 3, 4, 4. 4 of this one, that's kind of high, I think, maybe. Probably about the same for this one, and then just like in between cards. Pretty standard for what I think the deck is trying to play right now. I've seen a lot of lists like this one, so I don't think it's nothing new to innovate here. All right, and we're gonna use the X-Men website here to see at the tournament that happened on July the 6th and 7th. 500 players basically, and the winner was Trafalgar Law, which I mean, this is a hard one to expect, right? Because I mean, look at how many Rob Lucius were in the top 16, and like how did this deck made it past that one? I have no idea, honestly. Maybe it has a good matchup versus all the other decks, but I don't know how you have a good matchup versus Rob Lucy. That has to be a bad matchup for you. Really, the deck hasn't really innovated into anything else, like here. It's still really relying on having a board, and if it gets removed a 2-for-1 every turn with like Rob Lucy, I don't know how you can ever win. Like as soon as you do a drop, and they'll just outvalue you super fast. But nonetheless, this person, George, did it. He got first, and this is the deck list that he was playing. Nothing really has changed. He's playing 2 Nico Robins, some choppers. I guess it could be good. I don't know. I mean, you get to play him with Law for free, and then if you have it on the board, he can get some value. So that's pretty good for that reason. He's playing 3 Cavendish. I think that's probably the correct number in this type of deck. You don't really want to draw too many of this one. Still playing Trafalgar Law and the both Law combo. You have one Bunny and one Zoro. I mean, the Zoro is fine. I was playing like the 8-drop instead of the Zoro, but I mean, this is just fine one-offs that they're circumstantial, and then they could be good depending on the scenario. So it's a weird deck to see right now flourish in this meta. But nonetheless, he was able to do it. Like in a meta where Law and this guy are on the front. I feel like he dodged a lot of bad matchups, or he just knows how to play against those matchups. But either way, um, congrats. This is a really surprise to me, honestly. And then for a tournament that happened also on July the 7th, People's Card Shop, 64 players. The top eight, you can see it here, but then the deck that stuck out was Nami, that got the first place. And this is something that I do want to try. I probably will make a video about this. The Kuja Pirates and the Amazon Lily cards with Nami. Very, very interesting. Because I mean, this card kind of solves some of the problems with the deck, where you don't have a proactive play to draw cards. Like before, you only have Pilaf, and now you have Pilaf and this guy. I mean, and the Lily, so you can bounce it back to your hand. You can do some other proactive plays. It just replaces itself, get you closer to milling, and it's a defensive card. So a lot of good cards that you get out of like this package. Also, this card on life is also pretty good. So yeah, I mean, definitely something to watch out for, because Nami will see a resurgence because of that. And pretty much everything else is the same deck that we've seen before, but it does have some new tools that you can play with thanks to this engine that you can see here. This is only a 2K, I assume. They're not playing it for anything else, but I mean, you get to search a bunch of cards. You get to do basically the same thing, right? Very interesting deck to have for the future, right? All right, and this is all I have for today. I'll leave you with this Luffy image. Let me know if you did like this kind of videos, if you want something else like this, if you have any idea what I can add, maybe like a market watch type of segment, but I mean, not a full-on one, like maybe a small one. I'll try, but I'm not really good at those. And I just wanted to give my opinion on the new cards, because I think people do ask me a lot of that, and might as well just get it out there, right? With that being said, that's all I have for today. Thank you all for watching. Have a good one.